Hi, this is Minnie,
And this is Ying.
and we are here to talk about our data science project. We did our analysis on parking citation patterns in LA using a Kaggle dataset.
We first looked at the location patterns with the parking citation volume with our data. We thought that the busier areas would be more prone to citations. To investigate this, we first converted the latitude and longitude measures given by the dataset that were in US feet unit to more common unit in Tableau that Tableau can read. And we made a heat map on Tableau to show where the citations are distributed. As you can see, the general pattern of the darker spots are somewhat corresponding to the population density chart of LA that we found online.
So the next thing we looked at was a pattern between citation time and citation volume. We thought it would make sense for times with heavier traffic, such as commute times for work and meal times, to have higher citation volumes, since people are probably trying to find parking in areas that were close to each other. So by bucketing the citation times of our data set into hours of the day, we came up with this graph, and as you can see, it shows peaks at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and 12 p.m. There's also a small bump right here around the 4 p.m. mark, and so our hypothesis about commute time having higher traffic volume makes sense for the 8 a.m. peak, but the 10 a.m. peak isn't really explained by this hypothesis. So we also wondered if there was any reason in particular that most people are getting citations, and to get this information, we wrote a query for the top 20 most common violations and the number of records for each, and then graphed this information on Tableau. Interestingly, the most common reason was people parking during street cleaning hours, and this pattern was consistent throughout different months of the year and hours of the day. We looked more into this and realized that, like this picture here, most street cleaning times are around 8 to 10 a.m. on different days of the week, and this might help explain the 10 a.m. peaks on the time graph that we talked about earlier.
Okay, so our very last question is fine revenue higher or parking meter revenue higher? So we hypothesized that parking meter revenue should be higher because most people do use legal parking meters from our observations. But so we do some research and we draw our bar chart to compare the parking meter revenue versus the fine revenue for LA, and we found out that the ticket revenue is actually 2 times higher than the meter revenue, which contradicts to our hypotheses.